Ordered from Azure Standard lately and yet wondering what in the world is happening, what the future may hold? Or are you interested in seeing Azure Standard hauls? Or do you want some tips and tricks for ordering from Azure Standard? Well, stay tuned. We're going to get into all of these in this video. Hey everyone, welcome back to Grains and Grit. My name is Felicia, and if you're new, welcome. Good to have you here. If you are not new, then you definitely know by now that I'm a huge fan of Azure Standard. I've been ordering my grains almost exclusively from them for the past, I think about 5 or 6 years, pretty much ever since they came to Florida. I already knew about them before they came to Florida, and I was following them, waiting for them to do a drop. But in this video, I am going to be showing you my recent Azure Standard haul that I got actually just before Thanksgiving. I'm also going to be talking to you guys about the craziness going on with Azure Standard, especially if you're new. This will be important to know that it's just a little crazy right now. And I'm also going to be sharing with y'all some little tips and tricks ordering from Azure Standard to make sure that you're getting the best deals, getting what you want, things like that. Be sure to check out the description box below because I will have timestamps for this video because I know your time is valuable. So if you want to only get and see certain parts, timestamps are below. Also, if you are new to Azure Standard or just new to grains in general, or maybe you're not, but you don't know how much grains you would like to purchase for however long you're wanting to store up for your family, I do have a grains calculator for you that helps you determine roughly how much grain you need for your family based on your needs. That is a free printable that you can check out below as well when you sign up for my newsletter. But everything is in the description box below. Just be sure to check that out. I also have my link for Azure Standard. It is my affiliate link that you can use to sign up. If you are interested in Azure Standard after this video, again, everything in the description box below. So we're first going to talk about what's going on with Azure Standard. I'm sure many of you, if you had ordered lately, seen a bunch of craziness going on. So we're going to be talking about that. Then I'm going to be telling you guys a few little tips about ordering from Azure Standard. And then we're going to be getting to my haul that I got this month, or technically November, because now it's December when this video goes out. Okay, so first of all, what is going on with Azure Standard right now? Again, I have been with them since before the whole 2020 insanity madness. If you are new since then, you may just be wondering, you know, what's going on in general, and you don't have anything to compare with. But how it used to be with Azure Standard, it was very simple. You order by the cutoff date. There were still times where you didn't receive what you put in the cart because it sold out. Delivery dates were as expected, nothing new, or it would never really change. For that, drivers, I know ours were usually like 15 minutes early or on time. But lately, and especially since the whole 2020 craziness, things have gotten a little wonky. This past order was the craziest of all. My order for the very first time actually was just delayed until further notice. So my cutoff was the beginning of November, where I would have been receiving my items a good week before Thanksgiving. I think actually like a week and a half before Thanksgiving. But shortly after I placed my order, I got an email stating that it was just delayed until further notice, and I've never had that happen before. So if you are new to Azure Standard, just know that that is the very first time I've ever seen it. One thing to definitely do is follow Azure Standard, their YouTube channel, I'll link below, also their Instagram, because I know during this time they were putting out videos on their YouTube channel explaining to people what was going on. And if you receive their emails as well, they were sending emails out. So basically what was happening is where they normally averaged about sending 22 semi-truck full of delivery each week. And all of a sudden that went up to about 44 to 45 trucks a week. It's just crazy. They have grown they have grown by leaps and bounds way faster than they can keep up with. A little over a month ago, I actually received an email where they were asking people to come up and work to help pack their warehouse to get, or help to pack orders to get things out because they were just they were just short, and they had so many orders. And they even said, hey, bring your RV. We have camp spots. So if you're in the area of Oregon or want a road trip, definitely reach out to Azure Standard if you were interested in that, because I'm pretty sure they're still needing people to help pack orders. A few theories I have about why their orders have increased so much is obviously in 2020, more people were shopping from home, and the appeal of having things delivered to them as opposed to going to the store, especially if you couldn't go to the store, was a huge appeal. So that was a huge reason why they grew. But I think there's also just a popularity now of buying in bulk. People are sharing the word. They're spreading the word more about Azure Standard like I am, especially for those who are wanting wheat berries, which is not like it's easy to find in the store anyway. And just stock up. I mean, where else can you buy 25 and 50 pound bags of wheat, beans, oats, all these type of things? You can get them from other places, but generally it is something you have to order in order to get. And the great thing about Azure is it not only has those items, but like everything else, even cleaning supplies. I mean, it is like a natural organic store online that delivers to you once a month. So I think there definitely is an appeal for that. You're also ordering many things directly from the farmer, because Azure Standard are farmers themselves. They have been since the 70s. And so prices are cheaper. I know they're the best price for wheat berries that I know of, which is a huge reason why I buy from them, because again, they farm it themselves. So you're cutting out the middleman, you're buying directly from the farmer. And of course, with the increase in prepping, with everything going out of stock in the stores, with people seeing price increases, people wanting to stock up now before those price increases. So that's also contributing to the huge amount of orders as well, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, just things that I noticed, and so there you go. So one thing I do ask is definitely be patient with them. They are doing the best that they can from what I see, but again, if you go from regular orders and keeping up with that, and all of a sudden double, I mean, no matter what your business is, that's a lot to do very quickly. You have to train people. I mean, it's a lot. It does take a little bit of time, but it looks like that they are trying to do the best they can to get your orders out for you. Now, do you know, I did ask them about price increases, because I have seen that, especially their wheat, I compared it with what I bought a year ago, and they have had no price increases with their wheat berries. But I did reach out, and they did get back with me saying that there probably are going to be price increases in the future just because of the way everything is going, but they do not know when, they do not know how much. But again, if you just look around, guys, I mean, inflation is going crazy. It's kind of inevitable because everything else is going up. So just something to keep in mind as well. But right now that I have seen, haven't really increased their prices, at least on their items. Okay, so now we're going to get into some little tips that I've learned ordering from Azure Standard, and let me know if you have anything to add to this list, because we all want to know some tips to try and get our orders. One slightly disappointing thing with Azure Standard is when you place an order for something and you may not get your entire order because they've sold out of something. So there are some things that I've learned to kind of to handle this, or at least soften the blow a little bit. But before that, let's just do some general tips with Azure. The first thing that I've learned since 2020, again, this wasn't an issue before the whole Rona crisis, was their deliveries used to be very much on time, very predictable. Since then, their deliveries have gotten a little wonky. Now, I do think they've settled down a little bit since then, but I was having it for a few months, for several months, each delivery, where when I went to place my order, it would say, oh, delivery should be at Wednesday on this date, at such a time. And then I placed my order, making those plans to be there on that day. And then a few days before it comes in, because the order cutoff is usually about a week before you get your order. Like a few days before it came in, they suddenly changed the date from like Wednesday to Thursday. It's not like it was a few hours. I mean, it was a huge difference. And sometimes I couldn't make it because I already had plans. So, and on top of that, there was one delivery that I missed completely because I never received the email telling me about the change, which was extremely frustrating. Which I called Azure Standard about about me not receiving the email. But anyway, A few things that I did learn from that is, first of all, to check your email just to make sure they haven't sent out an update about your drop. But they definitely update it on the website. So to make sure now that I get there to the right delivery date on time is I actually go to Azure Standard, go into my account, look at my order that is placed, and check on that, on the delivery day and time, because they do keep that updated. You can also contact your drop coordinator as well to double check on that time, because at least for me, I have to drive, well, now it's only about 30 minutes to get there. Beforehand, it was an hour that I was driving to get there, and I literally wasted a couple hours because the drop had changed and I didn't know. But it had been changed on the website. So I check that every time now. I check my email, and you can also talk to your drop coordinator as well, just to verify those times. So a little tip, making sure you don't waste your time going on the wrong delivery day if it has been changed. Another tip is to make relationships at your drops. Talk to people. The great thing about these drops is, even though a bunch of you don't know each other probably, everyone is super helpful, and we get out and we help people load their vehicles and things like that. And it's an excellent time to talk, to make those relationships. Now, they may not be your drinking buddies, BFFs, whatever, and that's okay. Basically, I encourage you to make relationships, so that way if you ever can't make your drop, you have someone who can pick up your order for you, and vice versa. Because again, we're in crazy times right now, situations right now where things do change, and it's nice to have that little backup in case you can't meet your order. For example, like this last time was crazy, because again, I was originally supposed to receive my order about a week and a half before Thanksgiving, and it was delayed until the day before Thanksgiving. And usually I would have been out of town the day before Thanksgiving. But of course, my order was already placed. I was planning on picking it up a week and a half beforehand. And now it's the day before Thanksgiving. Thankfully, this happens to be the year that I am hosting for the first time. I was in town, able to pick up my order. But in that case, it's really nice to have someone who could possibly pick up your order for you in case that happens again. Okay, now some ordering tips that I've given to people before with Azure Standard. First of all, but when you place your order, be sure to check out the bargain bin, the clearance, and the bonus Azure cache. And you find those when you go to the website, and they have at the top the little bar where it says, and you see a tab that says shop, and then there's a drop down menu, and get down to kind of to the bottom of that, and you're going to see where it shows bargain bin, clearance, bonus Azure cache. These are things that you can get a discount on, or at the bonus Azure cache, you can get 3, 5, 6, 7 times the amount in Azure cache, which is, think kind of like the points, you get discount points, but you rack up enough points that turns into dollars that you can apply to your future orders. So those are some great things to look at. Another thing is, when you go to the homepage again, just slightly scroll down. So they generally have a big section up top, and scroll down to basically the next section where they're going to show you their in-season produce. So this again will give you the best deals for whenever it is in season, or just to know what they have right now, because not everything they have all year round. The biggest example are their apples. Their apples are only available certain times of the year. They don't have them all year round. So that's something to look at, as well as always check out to see what is in season. Okay, and the big tip that I have is, whenever you see that dreaded out of stock or unlikely to ship due to it being out of stock when you go to order something. And I have seen this many times. I have seen it after I've even added it to my cart where it says unlikely to ship. The biggest thing is, don't remove it from your cart. Leave it in there. Because I've actually had it say where it would be unlikely to ship, and it shipped. I've spoken to Azure about this to kind of determine when you get it, because it has nothing to do with when you checked out, when you added your cart. It all is based on when they're packing the orders in their warehouse. So if a ton of people have ordered it before they're packing your truck, they're just going down that list. So sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But don't delete it from your cart just because it says it's out of stock or it's unlikely to ship. Just keep it in there just in case. Also, in saying that, is with certain items, it's possible that you can add something else to help replace that item in case it doesn't ship. So that way you don't have nothing, you at least have something. The biggest example is what I did in my last order, where I needed 2 50-pound bags of hard red wheat berries, and they were showing those as unlikely to ship. So I went ahead and added hard white wheat berries, just a 50-pound bag of that. So just in case the hard red didn't ship, I at least had hard white, which if you've been around here long enough, you can interchange those when it comes to your yeast breads. I just needed the hard wheat. I needed some more of that. So I was okay with either one of those. Crazy enough, the hard red actually stated unlikely to ship. But what I actually got was my 2 bags of hard red, and my hard white didn't ship. So that was never saying unlikely to ship, and that happens. So I'm glad I kept those in there, because again, if all of it shipped, that's okay. Good thing with wheat berries is they can store. I'm going to use them. It's not like they're going to go to waste. I wouldn't do that with produce, or something that's going to spoil, but that is something to keep in mind. So especially like certain type of beans, if you're wanting and it's saying unlikely to ship, is there another one that you can add in instead that you would be okay with to use in case it didn't ship? So again, to recap, just because it says unlikely to ship, don't remove it from your cart. Leave it in there, check out with it, and they sort it all out whenever they ship it. And whenever you receive your email when your order has actually shipped, it will show you what all is being shipped to you. Which leads me to the next tip, and this is probably more for newbies than it is if you've been ordering for a while. But do know that you are not charged for your order until it has actually been packed in the truck and shipped. So you're going to receive an email whenever you first place your order before your cutoff, and that's going to show you everything and give you a total. That's not exactly what you're charged. When it's shipped, you're going to receive another email, and pay attention to that email. Or you can also just go onto your account on Azure and look under your orders, and it's going to show you how many cases to expect. And do know if you're ordering 25 50-pound bags, one of those is a case. So how many cases, boxes, bags that you're expected to have. So in my case, my last one I think was 7. So I needed to make sure I counted 7. And that's what your drop coordinator is going to ask for as well, as how many did you get everything. So that way you know you got all your boxes or large bags without having to open up your boxes, if that makes sense. But it's going to show you what actually shipped. So again, in my case last time, I think I had 14 total items and 10 items shipped. So I wasn't charged for the ones that didn't ship, obviously, but you need to see there, because I've seen it, people get to the Azure drop and they say, I didn't get this. I ordered it. Well, you probably did order it, but it just didn't ship. And so make sure you look at that in order to make sure that you, it just wasn't shipped, as opposed to you were charged for it, it should have shipped and you didn't receive it. So I hope that makes sense. Make sure again you look after it's shipped to compare what all actually shipped, and that's what actually charged your cart. All right, the next little tip that I have is to, in case you didn't know, again, another newbie one, is when you check out, so long as before your cutoff date, you can still edit your cart even though you have checked out. You can edit all the way up until your actual cutoff time. So a lot of times I check out, and then when I do that before my cutoff, then you kind of start seeing, if you check back, sometimes things will switch to like unlikely to ship or something like that. And that way I know, okay, well, I'm going to add this item just in case it doesn't ship or whatever. So you can be monitoring that. But again, and you don't have to check out again, you can just add to your cart and it'll automatically sort it out. You can also delete items as well. So that's the little tip, is if you did oops, I don't want this, or I need to add that, go ahead and edit it so long as it's before your actual cutoff time. Okay, so those are all the tips, a little update of what's going on with Azure. Now we're about to get to the actual Azure haul, so we're going to be moving this camera around. But before I do that, again, be sure to check out the description box below for my link to Azure Standard. It is an affiliate link. I do get credit for those who sign up under my link. And with that being said, thank you so very much to every single one of you who has used my link. Because of you, I actually got this entire order for free this time. I wasn't charged at all, which is a huge blessing for my family. So thank you for everyone who signs up using my referral link. And do know you can do this too. It's the same program that you have for all, the Share Azure program. For everyone who signs up under your own personal link, you get $25 credit, which is huge. For everyone who signs up under your link and they spend $100 in the first 60 days of signing up, you get $25 credit. And it's absolutely amazing. I love it. And again, I thank you so much. And my affiliate link is linked down below if you want to check it out. All right, so let's switch it up and on to the haul. Okay, so first we're starting off with, I got two 25-pound bags of the Lundberg long grain brown rice. Honestly, I was just looking for a basic brown rice, nothing fancy. Just wanting to stock up on the rice a bit more. And then another thing I got was finally got my hands on my whole white corn. I have been trying to get this for my past 2 Azure orders and they keep being sold out. So this time I was able to snag 2 25-pound bags of the whole white corn. And if you've been with me long enough, I actually use this corn for my cornbread. But I also have plans of making my own masa harina with it as well. So if you know how to do that, definitely comment below, but I'm going to be experimenting with it myself. Okay, and then crazy enough, this is what I mentioned earlier, where originally it was showing that my hard red wheat would be unlikely to ship. So I added in the hard white wheat just in case, and my hard white wheat didn't ship, but I was able to get my 2 50-pound bags of my hard red wheat, which, as you know, is what I use dominantly for my yeast bread. So this is also the cheapest hard red of the hard wheats. Hard white is a little bit more expensive, not too much, but this is both my organic hard red wheat, and I'm just gonna dump these into my buckets with a good lid and leave them alone. Okay, and last we got the wonderful repurposed box here, and I don't have much in this, but it's kind of funny what they packed it with. So these little weird things, and all we have in here is I was able to finally get some more einkorn. That was also sold out last time, so I just got 5 pounds of einkorn. My favorite thing to use einkorn with is actually my muffins. It gives it a very spongy muffin, so definitely do that with my muffin recipe. You can find that on my website, grainsandgrit.com/recipes. Find the muffin recipe, and for the flour, definitely use some freshly milled einkorn, and you're gonna love it. It's really good. All right, and this I was super excited to get. This was also showing as unlikely to ship, but this is palm fruit shortening. In my pie crust recipe, if you've seen that, it calls for both butter and shortening or lard, and I don't use Crisco because that's all chemicals, but then I looked online and found that people can use palm fruit shortening, and it's organic, non-GMO, definitely a better type of shortening. So I am super excited to try this out in my pie crust and just for shortening overall. So this is 4-pound bucket that I was able to get. And then last but not least, not exciting in the slightest, but I needed another gamma lid because one of my buckets, when I moved, I realized that it had cracked. It had actually cracked right here on the side, and because of that, moisture got into my grains and they started going bad. I was quite upset about it. It was just some of my wheat berries, but thankfully it wasn't too crazy. I was able to just feed them to my chickens, but I needed a new gamma lid, and if you do not have these, I highly recommend them. It does seal it well, but it makes it way easier if you're constantly getting in, like I am, and opening up the lids. It's just easier to use because it just, as you can see, it just screws on. So you can see right there, so you just snap this bottom part, the bottom part here on, and then you just have a lid that now screws in. Super handy to have, and Azure does have this. They only have, I think, the one color. You can't choose your colors. If you go on like Amazon, you can kind of choose your colors there, but I just needed one, and I didn't care about the color, so I just went ahead and snagged that. All right, that's it, everyone. Thank you so very much. I hope this kind of inspired you. I know it wasn't a really super exciting haul. I did order a few more items, but they did not ship. But this is what I got for my family, and I hope this was helpful. Of course, if you have any questions, comment below, and I am here to help you guys out. And be sure to sign up for my newsletter, get that free grain calculator. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.